are you doing today, Dexter?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks.
Congratulations on the movie. I really, really, really enjoyed it.
Great, thank you.
One thing I will say is that as a musical fantasy biopic, which is a lot of genres.
Yes.
How did you know that you were like, oh, this is what I want to do, or on top of that you felt you were the right director to do it?
Well, in terms of the right director to do it, I mean, that's other people's call at the end of the day. Sure. I mean, I felt when I got asked, my old friend Matthew Vaughan, who produced Eddie the Eagle that I made with Taron and Lock Stock 150 years ago, that was really his call. But when he phoned me and said Taron playing Elton, I was like, well, that's great. In an R-rated musical, I was like, this is even better. But I think that the fact that it is a fantasy and I know that it gets called a biopic, but I do prefer the term true fantasy, because what it is, it's Elton's memory, and when we use our memory to recount a story, we get things wrong, or we embellish, or we leave certain things out, or we get timelines mixed up, but it requires a leap of imagination and storytelling that gives Rocketman its fuel, if you like.
That's your poster line.
There you go. That's it. But it does. But do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
That allows us to go, oh yeah, I sat around the dining room table when I was a kid and I wanted love, and so they can sing "I Want Love."
Yeah.
And so that element was like, great. We've got this device. We should absolutely use it.
Well, I was looking back over the history of potential Elton John biopics over the years.
Oh yeah.
And the people who were lined up at one, maybe not lined up, like Hollywood were whispering about it, goes from Tom Hardy, Tom Cruise, Daniel Radcliffe, James McAvoy, and Justin Timberlake. They're just the ones I could find. So, and we've landed on Taron, and I think he is amazing in it.
Great, I agree.
And as you said, you came on knowing he was already playing the part. But how did you, what was your reaction? What was it about Taron that you're like, oh, he's absolutely perfect for this role? Well,
having worked with him and knowing him as a friend and knowing him as I do, even after Eddie, I understood what he brought to Eddie as an actor, and is that elusive thing that we all search for as actors, having been an actor, is truth. And what I mean by is truth in that moment, the honesty of what it is that you're playing. And Taron sort of has that, but he has this incredible range as well as an actor that maybe Eddie didn't fully exploit that. But what he did do to Eddie is he brought this honesty and truth to it that made it really enjoyable. That Eddie the Eagle film is a great, enjoyable film. And so when you apply that to something as complex as Elton, and add the music, because that's where the complexity and depth and the creative genius comes from, that then you're really sort of getting into a different territory. That I knew that Taron was an incredible actor, and that this was going to be a moment for him that he was going to be like, I'm going to do this. And, and when he gets his teeth into something, it's always like that. And aside from that, he has this incredible singing voice, and if he could bring that honesty to the songs as well, then I knew that it was a genius idea.
Well, one of my favourite things of the film is that it doesn't, even though it is a true fantasy, it doesn't shy away from some of the darker aspects of Elton's life, which is a really good thing, especially considering Elton is involved and he's like, shine a light on everything. That's the best way to do it.
It is.
But in terms of looking back, we had Elton, we had Freddie, we had David Bowie, we had George Michael, we had all these huge iconic LGBTQ artists.
Yeah.
And if you look today, even though we are a bit more progressive as a society, there's not many around anymore. What do you reckon that is? Where do you think earlier, I guess, society was a bit more, we accept them, but now it's like they're not as popular anymore?
I don't know about not as popular. I think it's just less of an issue. Maybe.
Oh, really?
Maybe. I mean, because look, I'm just thinking about what you're saying. It's like when the 70s hit, right? 1970, 1969. Mm-hmm. To be gay man was decriminalised in 1969. When Elton was just in his early 20s. When a lot of these artists that you're referencing were young men. Even George Michael to a greater or lesser extent. Throughout the 70s and 80s, it was suddenly like, okay, out of the closet into the world, and so it afforded glam rock. It afforded. Yeah, there's a stretching of the arms and I'm going to tentatively or not, I'm going to be really bold and over the top, but I'm going to put it in your face. Because if you spent the best part of your life being a criminal for nothing more than how you feel, then when there is that sea change, maybe that answers, in the 70s why people went boom and glam rock hit and guys put on eyeliner and grew their hair long and you were like, is he gay? Is he not? I don't know. It's whereas now, like Sam Smith and, other artists who are out and gay, and is it so much of an issue? Because I think maybe for my generation, I'm 53, it could be, oh my word, that's still a bit of it's still challenging, but maybe I hope that a 16-year-old will watch it and go, oh, yeah, so, okay, right. It's like, that's hopefully the progression of it. And of course, there's issues around it because not everybody's the same age. We're all of different generations, and different generations have different ideas about different things. That's the nature of it. But the issues in it, if they are issues, I can't own. The issues you have to own your own issues. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely,
the people and because without that, I can't be accepting and diverse as I would like to be. I just, if I've got a problem with something, I have to examine myself. And if I don't want to examine myself, I just go, I don't want that. I don't want to see that. But that's not how I don't want to be that way. I want to be someone who self-examines and hopefully is part of the sea change if that's a possible thing.
No, that's a fantastic goal to have. Dexter, thank you so much.
Yeah, likewise. Thank you very much.
So how does it feel to be a star?
It's never going to last.
Let's just enjoy it while we can.
First sleeping arrangements get out, all of this is gone.
I just hope you realise you're choosing a life of being alone forever.
Don't you want to just sing without this ridiculous paraphernalia?
People don't pay to see Reg White. They pay to see Elton John.
Sorry.
I know.
Do you even care how much pressure I'm under?
Not really. I'll still be collecting my 20% long after you've killed yourself.
Maybe I should have tried to be more ordinary.
You were never ordinary.
What a shy little boy you were. Look at you now.